Given our current situation, I wanted to play something entirely new that wasn't going to preach to me about some lesson of greater importance, or remind me of how terrible everything is by making light of the absurdity of our reality. I just wanted a fun game, and DMC5 delivered in spades. As an added bonus, the time frame of the game is nearly upon us. We've got some interesting things to look forward to. I've neither played any of the Devil May Cry games, nor read any of the few comics available. I did some research, settled down. Even better, DMC5 has a brief video book to help people like me get up to speed on the story thus far. Honestly, I wish it would have been voice acted, but like convincing people who believe in the importance of wearing masks to wear them properly, you just can't win them all. I'm not gonna fully spoil the story here, although there may be some footage from the late game, just FYI. So what is DMC?
King? You? I don't know. I mean, you're a big guy and all, but you seem more like a knuckle-scrapping fart in the wind than anything else. No offense.
Absurdity aside, it's a series of hack-and-slash action games from Capcom. The gameplay focuses on stylish attacks, and the player receives a ranking ranging from D, or dismal, to triple S, or smokin' sexy style, for each combat encounter. The Get Good crowd out there would say that you have to have smokin' sexy style for each encounter to really play the game right. However, there is no gateway between the missions or encounters that I've seen that would prevent you from completing the game, only getting the lowest rating throughout. The clear goal is just to have fun. If you want to focus on combos and whatnot, you certainly can, and you'll earn more of the currency, but it's not required to advance through the game. You play as three distinct characters. Dante, the series veteran who reminded me a bit of John Wick, except, you know, mouthy. Nero, a demon hunter from Devil May Cry 4, and V, who is new this time around.
Okay, V. Why don't you tell me everything about this job?
A powerful demon is about to resurrect, and we need your help, Dante.
Now that's a familiar tune.
What am I doing wasting my time here? He's got this.
You should not underestimate this demon. After all, it was he who took your right arm.
Devil May Cry 5 pits those three in a battle against demons from the underworld during May and June. Use caution, everybody. COVID in March and April, killer wasps in April and early May, a demon tree in May, and the bulk of the events in DMC5 occurring in mid-June. And we didn't think it could get much worse. For anyone else not familiar with the series, Dante, Nero, and V each have some sort of connection or access to demonic power. Dante and Nero are able to access that power through weapons, accessories, or just plain badassery. V can conjure three different demons to actually fight the battles for him. Now, each of the three playable characters are well written, and the story, while obviously absurd, works well given this three-person framing mechanic. At first glance, Dante and Nero appear to be cut from the same belligerent bro demon hater cloth. However, Nero demonstrates some surprising character depth and evolution throughout, ranging from emotionally hurt and jealous to vulnerable and sentimental. It would be disingenuous for me to fail to mention that the culmination of Nero's character evolution hit me square in the feels. I was not expecting that. V, on the other hand, while mysterious and quick-witted to match Dante and Nero, provides a much different character for the players. His background, motivations, and capabilities, or lack thereof, are largely unknown to Dante and Nero. DMC5 even captures much of the genuine sentiment behind familial-like relationships in its character writing.
It's okay to cry. If you want, Nero, over a loss.
Not cry.
It doesn't make you a crybaby. Does make you a little bitch, though.
There it is.
In addition to Dante, Nero, and V, other characters provide support or participate for general background and story context. Your primary support in Devil May Cry 5 comes from Nico, She's a savant when it comes to designing and building weapons. However, her support is not free, and she's quick to remind Dante and Nero about it. Now, as a brief aside, when making a video game with this few characters and already having a character named Nero from a prior game, why would you name another significant character something so similar? Nico and Nero as two of the four main characters in your game is just a little bit absurd. Now settle down, fanboys. I know her name is Nicoletta, but again, her name could have been anything. It didn't have to be that close to Nero. Either way, Nico is like that good buddy you've got who's always ready to do something stupid and doesn't need much convincing. She's the kind of person who would call you a sissy as she left to brave coronavirus, government mandates, murder hornets, and the literal apocalypse to go buy cigarettes.
So, think you can make it all the way here?
Duh. Who do you think you're talking to?
However, returning series characters such as Lady and Trish are largely irrelevant to the game, which is a bit disappointing. As a newcomer to the series, they seem to serve the role of TNA to keep the horny among us happy instead of the empowered badasses they are established to be in prior games. Now all that character mumbo jumbo is great and all, but what about the world of DMC5? Great writing, acting, character development, and even some nuanced emotions are all nice, but without a convincing setting, the game could still fall flat. That would be like if the It's a Small World ride at Disney World still had the puppets and the catchy tune, but was located in a hot, humid swamp full of predators. Well, shit, alright, that's a bad example, but you know what I mean. I'm a sucker for good world building. Heck, I spent more time than I care to admit evaluating the signs, posters, and vending machines in the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo. I didn't enjoy the gameplay, the absurd remake aspects, the constant talking during battles, etc., but I'll be darned if that wasn't a gorgeous iteration of Midgar. Luckily, DMC5 creates an exceptionally impressive world as well. Even better, hidden in the world of DMC5, you may find demonic symbols. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Adam, son, what kind of hooliganism is this game promoting with all this demonic stuff? None. The demonic symbols fit in the world built into this game about demon hunters. If you have any complaints or concerns, please be sure to file those with your nearest flat earth anti-vaxxer. Thank you. Those demonic symbols, once viewed from the appropriate angle, will unlock secret missions and perhaps subliminally convince you to worship Satan. It's tough to tell. I only found 2 during my first playthrough, so I may not have been properly indoctrinated. Honestly, I was looking for those things like I searched for the last cold bushlight tall boy during any average COVID quarantine mid-morning. I thought I did a pretty heckin' thorough search. Now, the exploration is pretty straightforward, or so I thought. Perhaps I missed something given how few of the demonic symbols I found. Ultimately, the game is linear without being annoyingly so. It's well designed, much like an Elon Musk tweet. What, you thought I'd have an example of that? You'll have to go look those up, there are far too many. The only unusual thing I experienced was an occasional lip sync issue at the beginning of a play session. I have a very capable gaming machine, so I'm not sure to what to attribute that. Perhaps I imagined it and the murder hornets are beginning to spread COVID from chemtrails. Who knows? Regardless, the game is gorgeous, the setting is excellent, and the characters are interesting. Maybe it was just the right game at the right time for me, or maybe it really is one of the best looking and developed settings and sets of characters in a game I've ever played. I can't be sure. What I do know is IGN once described Persona 5 as dripping with style. It's totally understandable. It's a cool and trendy game with a unique art style and tremendous detail. However, if Persona 5 is dripping with style, then Devil May Cry 5 is 20,000 leagues under the damn sea of style. However, with all of that said, you need only look at the concept art to recognize that a DMC in watercolor art style would be absolutely amazing. Okay, so I like the people, the setting, and the design is awesome. What about the gameplay? All of that means nothing if the game part of this video game isn't fun. Each of the 3 playable characters has weapons, attacks, and upgrades as different as their personalities. I was a bit concerned going in that the controls would be problematic as I'm not overly familiar with the series. Memorizing a number of button combinations, movements, and which specific weapon works against a specific type of enemy isn't my idea of a good time. While there is some of that, DMC5 mostly keeps consistency between the button and the type of attack across the various characters. So ranged attacks will almost always involve the same button irrespective which character you're currently using, however different those ranged attacks may look. Not being familiar with the series, I figured each character would have identical movesets, and the attacks would essentially be the same, just with a different character model performing them. I didn't expect each to have those unique attacks and abilities, vastly different weapons, and, at least with V, a fundamentally different approach to combat. It's really impressive how the gameplay for each of the 3 playable characters is so balanced, despite them all being so unstable. My playthrough took me about 10 hours, and you have to unlock the higher difficulty levels by playing the easier ones first. Having played through it once, I'm looking forward to getting back and playing the higher difficulty levels at some point in the future. The real problem is that now I'm extremely interested in the prior DMC games, and my playthrough happened to coincide with the Steam sale. So I've got 2 other DMC games calling my name, and others are wishlisted. Ultimately, I had a great time with Devil May Cry 5, and I'd recommend it to anyone looking for a fun game. Not into hack and slashes? Me neither. Never played the series before? Ditto. No idea what you're getting into? Nor did I. This likely isn't going to be a 50-hour epic unless you really pursue the higher difficulty levels, of course. When it really comes down to it, DMC5 is the type of game you pick up, enjoy for a bit, and get some tough action in a relatively short amount of time. You can go back to it anytime, have a different but still fun experience, and walk away with relatively few strings attached. It's the damn grinder of video games.